One of the very striking observations to look at the recent Iran-Israel war is Hezbollah's commitment as well as the Houthis' commitment to complete silence during the war. There was not a single missile that came out of Hezbollah to Israel during the war, and the Houthis launched 2 missiles, 3 like that. The Israelis intercept them in this. The Great War. Although we saw the 2 dragons of Hezbollah and the Houthis on 10/7/2023 AD after the Al-Aqsa flood, I mean, they fired missiles at Israel, whether Hezbollah in the north of Israel or whether the Houthis at Ben Gurion airport, as you are not used to. Okay, what happened? There is still total food. This is a strange thing, a striking nature. This is the major Iranian agriculture in the region. Whether it is Hezbollah in Lebanon or the Houthis in Yemen, and of course the same thing is said about the Iraqi Shiite militias loyal to Iran. Also, there is no comment even in words, there is none. Some analyzers say, by God, Hezbollah suffered heavy losses in the recent Israeli strikes on it last year in 2024, and therefore it does not have the ability to respond. And some analyzers say, no, this is the origin of Hezbollah's commitment to the ceasefire that was concluded between it and Israel 27/11/2024 AD. In an honorary commitment, he cannot believe that it violates the ceasefire agreement that was between them. And then people say, by God, Hezbollah maintains the stability of Lebanon. So why? He did not strike to preserve the country in which he lives. In fact, the apologies are unacceptable apologies. An apology that Hezbollah was affected by the strikes and makes it say that it is unable to respond is not true. Hezbollah has between 150,000 and 200,000 missiles. When the entire arsenal is assembled, what is known to Hezbollah, these are the announced numbers. They possess 150,000 firearms, including about 40,000 short-range missiles, which are missiles, Katyusha missiles or similar Katyusha missiles with short dates. The material strikes from the southern borders of Lebanon. It is possible to reach the borders of northern Israel. There is no need for it. I trained with them from 60,000 to 80,000 medium-range missiles, like Fajr, Rad, Khaybar missiles, etc. Also, there is nothing I have trained for, and they have long-range missiles. Among its arsenal are around 30,000 rockets like Zalzal and Fateh. And 10%, by the way, of these missiles are accurately guided, meaning they are directed by the PGPS, meaning it is possible to reach certain targets in the extreme. And they say that the party has the ability to strike 3,000 shells per day. And of course, it will cause concern to Israel during the war with Iran. It also has air defense systems, anti-tank missiles, anti-ship missiles. Allegedly, Hezbollah has 2,000 to 2,500 drones, marking strong aerial capacity. The capabilities that we said make it one of the largest unofficial military factions in the world. I mean, these are unusual capabilities. There are no unofficial factions in the world that have such capabilities. Apologize if he does not have the ability. No, he has the ability, at least if he helps Iran in such an atmosphere. An apology as well as an analysis of self-restraint is also unacceptable because he has never restrained himself. I mean, he has never committed to a ceasefire in his entire history with Israel. There have always been violations by one party and violations by the Jews. I mean, aggression and commitment to a ceasefire are normal. This is something we have never heard about in their story, I mean. Especially since Israel has never adhered to a ceasefire since a ceasefire. The year C was on 11/27/2024 AD. From that time until now, Israel has not adhered to the ceasefire. We say that Israel committed 1,345 ceasefire violations out of 27 regimes until now. Imagine this number. A total of 1,345 violations for a ceasefire. And you mean all this self-control. Why have you not responded even once in all these long times? The Jewish violations, air raids, missiles, attacks, planes, drones, and even ground operations inside the Lebanese borders? The last one was 6/6/2025 AD, the war, Israel-Iran. On June 10th, meaning a week before that, but just a week before that, Israel launched strong, intense strikes on the southern suburb of Beirut and on the Ain Qana district and targeted production facilities. Deaths from Hezbollah drone attacks. In Lebanon, from November 27th until now, this means that from the ceasefire until now, official announcements have 119 people in Lebanon, other than 360 wounded or more. The ceasefire violation has occurred from Israel in a very striking manner, and therefore the response to it is unknown, meaning anything. Any Hezbollah retaliation invites criticism under law. As for the apology of the desire for the stability of Lebanon, it is a funny apology because where does Hezbollah come from? Does it want to maintain the stability of Lebanon? It is already one of the biggest reasons for Lebanon's instability, because it is the only faction that has weapons other than the government, other than the official Lebanese army. It has them, so how? Can't get stability in the presence of weapons with this platoon. In this picture, this weapon is not a weapon, pistols and... Machine guns mean missiles, anti-aircraft missiles, and anti-aircraft missiles for air defense, and it means real military matters. How? Can you tell me that stability is possible in a country where the army is not as powerful as this? The Houthis also have no justification for the state of psychological calm they are experiencing. In light of the Iran war means 12 days of 2 missiles, but who? Who are the Houthis? Where was the enthusiasm you had after October 7? Why did the events in Gaza happen? The only explanation for this issue, unfortunately, is that they tried to drown Hamas and the Palestinians as much as they could after October 7, pushing them to war and all. As for things to calm down a little, excessive enthusiasm, new missiles ignite the issue so that Hamas prefers to continue on the issue and the Palestinians in Gaza prefer to continue on the issue, and they are happy. The issue of Iran, no, there is nothing different from that. I mean, there is no such enthusiasm. We have not seen it at all or close to it. I mean, even away from it, there's no enthusiasm of any kind. The result, The result? In Gaza, there are close to 60,000 martyrs and we have more than 130,000 wounded. We have the assassination of a good number of leaders in Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and of course some of them are those outside Gaza, such as Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, and the destruction of 80 to 90% of the infrastructure in Gaza. They still encourage them to continue. They returned the case maybe 50 years later and they had no problem. But what is the enthusiasm? Too much in Iran for the first time. Gold, no one speaks or moves neither from Iraq, nor from Lebanon, nor from Yemen. How many missiles will Iran strike like this to save face and alert America before it strikes the Qatar base? And the goal of all of this is that the world stops quickly. We do not want to expand the scope of war, fear Lebanon and fear Yemen. We prefer to continue the war, no, we want to stop quickly, we stop quickly, but there in Gaza, no. We do not want to stand completely, we prefer to remain in ambush until we meet the last Sunni forces in the region, the armed force that is present in the region, the Levant region, which is what I mean. It is better to look at it in the Shiite crescent, the Iranian force or the Shiite force. As for the force that is Hamas or the people who moved the Islamic Jihad or something like that, no, the people stopped all of this. With this drowning in this issue, that's why the silence that we saw from Hezbollah is not his decision. These are orders coming from Iran that you do not move, and orders are coming to the Houthis that you do not move, as well as the Shiites in Iraq. The Iraqi militias do not move because things calm down quickly. 12 days is enough for that, as for a year and a half. And more than a year and a half now, and things are going on. Dates raising questions are supposed to intrigue everyone. Of course, I know this analysis. The Shiites will not like it for fear that they will comment. We fought and worked, and many of these enthusiastic sheikhs will not respond. Me, I am for Iran and enthusiastic about Hezbollah and enthusiastic about the Shiites. I tell you, by God, what did medicine and others do? Well, at least others did not drown the Palestinians in this way, and it did not push them to celebrate this.
the method. This is not to put them in the wrong place and insult them, and in the end there is no enthusiasm. Doesn't mean thoughtful. Wrong calculations, ill-considered enthusiasm, we call it what we call it. But what happened is that what we saw from Hezbollah and what we saw from the Houthis is the opposite of what we saw on October 7th, when the management of the war in Gaza explained everything to us. They had no margin, the clear goal of supporting the cause. In Palestine, they have the exact opposite of this during the power that exists. With this drowning in this event, leaving them in the whoosh of the cannon set off. To the state of their path, this is what we have seen, the truth from Hezbollah, from the Houthis and from Iran. I hope, O Lord, people understand this message and learn from this lesson. And we know that this religion will not be victorious unless it is strong. The faith that has good morals, the one that has a history in this matter. And we saw the history of the Shiites in Har, in their wars with the Sunnis and their wars. In general, we have seen the reality that we are experiencing until now, and we hope that our Lord Almighty will be pleased.
Muslims see the facts in such dark strife. May God's peace and blessings be upon you.